Hello and welcome to the Metroidvania podcast. My name is Professor Q.
This is Caldrath from the Metroidvania subreddit and Discord.
Hello, this is Master. I'm also from there.
And I apologize that Caldrath seems to be having a little bit of internet issues, but I think hopefully it'll work itself out as we go through. You came in a little staticky is why I'm bringing that up, Caldrath.
Oh, okay.
And what comes through on my speakers is how it's being broadcast to Twitch, so...
Try jiggling your microphone.
I don't think that's helping.
Unplug it and plug it back in. Actually, don't do that because you might spend the next 5 minutes trying to figure out how to get it back to what it was.
Yeah, and we need to get to you playing Hollow Knight here.
Yeah, this. I'm going into this completely blind. I found out about it, I think, last week. I think that Sarah in the Discord brought it up. And yeah, it looks like another Hollow Knight ripoff. This is the first time me seeing this screen. I'm going to go ahead and put the level cap up to 99 because we're totally going to play that long tonight. 2 players. Wow, interesting. Huh. Alright, well, this is interesting. Should I go with the hard modes, guys? What do you think?
Why not brutal?
You're getting ready to die a lot. All right. We'll see what happens. I have no idea what we have in store. I don't even know if this is going to be similar to Castlevania or not. I'm assuming that it's similar to... Okay, apparently I pushed the wrong button there. Load game? What the heck? Well, what happened to the file that I just had? Oh, we're off to a great start. I can't get out of this menu now. We're stuck.
Oh
no. No, I don't want to do that.
I know.
Completely quit game.
All right, well, we'll try this again.
Well, at least that's an option.
I know everybody wanted to see Ponyvania tonight, but we may end up doing the Metroidvania or the Metroid Zelda randomizer if this doesn't work out. Welcome, Elphys Belmont. Does it show? I don't think it's going to show the. For whatever reason, the game's intro is like a different application than the rest of the game. All right, game start. I'm going to try hitting enter this time instead of
Change nothing. Just go. We just need to get in there.
What? Why would you think that that's what I wanted? Okay. Oh gosh, can we not get past the intro screen? Maybe I should have tested this more, but I wanted to do it as blind as possible, so.
Wow, this game's hard.
Yeah, this is the most difficult game we played on stream. We can't even get past the menu screen.
Yeah, maybe you have to keep it on normal to get past the opening menu.
Are you hitting the wrong button to proceed into the menu? Maybe you're hitting the back button.
No, I don't think so. I'm pushing the jump button. Maybe I should try the space bar. Let's try that. Nope, that doesn't even do anything. So confirm game settings is the same button I'm using to do game start. So, oh, here we go. I got stuff going. I don't know what button that is, but I'm using it. Oh, I guess my name is Blake. All right, we gotta make our pony OC. I feel a little weird playing a male pony because I don't think I've ever seen one on the show. Do you want to be Earth, Pegasus, or Unicorn? Let's be a Pegasus. Oh, goodness.
Pegasus seems like it would be the overpowered option for a Metroidvania.
All right, we gotta be Pegasus Z here.
This is actually just a character creator.
Yeah. How do I make this more yellow?
I like how it acknowledges that you can only see one eye, so it's not customizing eyes. Customizing eye.
All right. What color? They're blue eyes, right? Right. All right, and then what is the body? Oh, that's the color of the body. Yeah, we'll be teal. Why not? There we go. This is the best. Oh, and we gotta have a cutie mark. Oh, I was totally gonna make my own custom cutie mark, but I can't even see it because of the wings. How's it going, Salmace?
Yep, stained glass. This is Hollow Knight.
This is totally Hollow Knight. What the heck? Come to think of it, in Castlevania, is there a lot of stained glass windows? I'm trying to think. There's the cathedral area.
I like how they're capitalizing Discord. And I'd just like to imagine that the Discord that they're talking about is the same one we're chatting through right now.
I was about to say, that's the first thing my mind went to go through. I'm sort of skim reading this because this is a lot of text.
But it's all important. You're going to need to know this. You're not going to have any idea where you're going.
I'm going to kill more bosses. It's a good thing I don't plan on reviewing this anytime soon, because I actually have some, like, I don't know, is there any ethical qualms with me reviewing this game at all? I'm not sure how legal this game is. I mean, I reviewed AM2R, so obviously I don't... There's a little bit of a copyright issue with that one, but...
Yeah, I guess this is...
Like
this could be considered fair use.
I'm not sure, because this music, I don't think they made this, but who knows.
Oh, if it's using like actual My Little Pony music, then that would probably be
The music's really nice. Oh boy. Oh boy. What is this? I can't jump. Why can't I jump?
because it doesn't want it. You haven't been told how to jump yet.
Do I have to unlock jumping in this game? Yeah, this is straight up Symphony of the Night music.
I mean, they also ripped off the Ho elements, so...
Yeah.
Why isn't X to jump working? Let's see. I need to make sure my joy to key is set up
And
correctly.
the enemies.
Okay, now you actually have to jump.
What the heck?
Oh, press X to jump.
Yeah, for
This
whatever
is your
reason.
problem that you had on the menu. It must be bound to something else.
It may be. Okay, here we go. Oh, you can double jump. Oh, you can just straight up fly. I wonder if that's because I'm a unicorn or a Pegasus or whatever. Oh, that's using mana. It's using a lot of mana.
Not that much. For being able to fly?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to get me... Okay, so you can fly a lot, and then it gradually takes away mana the more you do it. So, okay, that's interesting.
The cost ramps.
Yeah, yeah.
How are they going to give you mobility upgrades? Is
My
this even
version.
Metroidvania?
My immersion in this pony game has been broken by that level up screen. Oh, great. I just lost everything, and now all I have is a headbutt. Who was that?
Death.
Pony death?
Okay, your splash art looks great. I'm going to assume that that was taken directly from official art.
Probably.
Definitely.
But there's something wrong with your eye. He looks very sad. Pony death.
This game kind of reminds me of, like, you know those Drawn to Life games on the DS?
Uh-huh.
The characters look like they were made in that. If you don't know those games.
Okay, we're going to start doing our Castlevania thing. Do we have a map? No, we don't want to completely quit the game.
The shtick of the game is that you, like, draw your character.
Oh, there it
So you end up running around with, like, the worst MS Paint abomination you've ever seen.
Sounds like my practice Metroidvania.
So, the first topic we wanted to talk about this week was originality. We thought that was a good topic to bring up with this
Wonder
game.
why.
And also, it's been a hot topic lately. So Francis Vey says that it doesn't look like official art to them, so it's possible. I mean, there's a lot of good pony art out there, so I'm sure that they could find a lot of things. And yes, I'm very glad that hitting the escape button doesn't just quit the game automatically. So this last week, a trailer was released. I can't remember the name of the game. Do you remember the name of the game, guys?
Crowsworn?
No.
Say that one more time, Caldrath. I think that was correct.
Crowsworn?
Crowsworn came out recently, and it looks good. I think, in my opinion, but it has created a bit of a controversy because people are comparing it to Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I see the comparison in the backgrounds and the particle effects, but the art style otherwise doesn't seem that similar to me. Like, it's hand-drawn, but otherwise it seems to use, like, color completely differently. The, like, shapes of the enemies are different. I guess the like spears might that the like boss was using kind of look a little bit like a Hollow Knight thing. But I think all in all, it's similar to Gleamlight to me, where it's just like I think people are like over exaggerating the comparison.
I honestly don't remember anything about what it looks like. I probably should have researched this before we talked about it on stream.
It looked like a combination between like Hollow Knight and like Blasphemous.
Oh, I do remember now.
Yeah.
It was the boss fight trailer thing.
I couldn't even move. I was forced to press up there. And yeah, it was a boss fight. It looked really cool. I thought it looked really nice. By the way, the reason why my controls were all messed up is that my Joy-to key for some reason reverted to Knit Underground instead of the Ponyvania setup that I created. I don't know why it did that, but now I'm back on track and things make sense. Luckily, every game that uses keyboard uses Z and X, so most of it was working correctly, but that's why my jump wasn't working.
Yeah, it had a Birdman. I remember that. The Birdman looked cool.
Oops.
Yeah, he also had guns instead of magic, and then instead of refilling by hitting things, you had to go through a reload animation. And the guns look pretty cool too.
Yeah, I really don't care that much even if something is a clone. Like if it's a clone of a game I like and it's good, you know, it's fun and it has unique elements despite like copying aesthetics and certain gameplay elements, like I'd be happy.
Yeah, speaking of copying things, like this game is like almost all copied assets.
So I just got 2 powers to equip, and it's very similar to, or it seems to be very similar to Aria of Sorrow. Oh, nope, we're more Equestria all of a sudden.
Oh boy.
Yeah, aren't those? Isn't that the exact same art from Order of Ecclesia?
I think this may
same
be
map?
the same first map. I do remember the Mudmen, but those are in every game. This music is from Dawn of Sorrow, which is a really nice track. I like it a lot. And I'm getting killed by pony axe armor. What the heck?
Just the shape of being a pony seems like
It is a
it's
little bit
better to
awkward.
dodge things.
Whoa.
Oh,
The
you have a
dogs come out of the
strong
ground.
neck.
Now remember, we put it on... No, wait, we didn't change the difficulty because we were messing things up. So I actually am on normal. So basically, I'm just being a total noob right now.
Or maybe they just don't have the difficulty tuned that well.
Possibly. Sphere Kurabon says that this is Rubus Forest from Ecclesia. I would not remember the name of the forest. I've only played Ecclesia like 2 or 3 times. I think twice. I did do like major completion of that game though, so I just don't pay attention to names that much.
You might need to eat those strawberries you got.
I think it automatically ate them because my health went up.
Oh, okay.
This is really awkward attack. It's just like bleh. Slowly.
That seems like you can move while you're attacking too, which is like Deedlit did that, but I don't think you could do that unless you were like in a jump in any of the Castlevania games.
I don't understand the physics behind the attack animation.
Sorry, one sec.
It's magic, pony magic. Don't worry about
But
it.
it's not using mana.
Not all magic uses mana. And that
Well,
lightning
shouldn't it be
does
defined
not-
as something else if it doesn't use mana? That should be like the core definition of what is magic, is what draws from the nebulous mana source.
It's magic. I don't gotta explain anything.
What was I saw a joke about the wizard, like, you know, the wizard who did it excuse.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be the wizard? It's like, no, I didn't. It wasn't me. Stop blaming me. Okay, the shuriken's definitely better on those axe knights. Okay, so what are some of the drawbacks of lacking? Like, okay, let's say every game copied. I like how they barely had to change this to make it a pony. Like,
Is it even a pony?
well, it's dead now. It was briefly a pony.
That's like the first okay-looking sprite
But that's
in
because
in
it's
this game so far.
it's because they ripped it directly from. Oh, well, I got it. How did I do that? Was that a Hadouken move, or how did I do that? I hate when I do things and I don't know how I did them.
It's probably like the skills in Symphony of the Night,
Is it your slide?
like motion commands.
So I have a slide, but I don't know how I did like the stab while I slid. Maybe I double tapped? I don't even know. So what are the drawbacks of lacking originality? Like, why do you think people react the way they do when they see a game that looks similar to another game?
Well, there are games that are like pretty much just trying to be rip-offs that are generally cheap games. But that's usually an issue with assets and not gameplay.
Yeah, people are used to shovelware.
So, but what is the indicator that it is shovelware? Now, Gleamlight had the same problem when it was kind of in its development process, that everybody compared it to Hollow Knight. And then when it came out, obviously, we all saw it. It is what it is, and it's nothing like Hollow Knight. It was never like Hollow Knight in the first place, so I'm not sure why people made that comparison. Just because it had the dark art?
Anything with hand-drawn art is Hollow Knight.
Yeah, it was a bad comparison. The comparison to this newer game is much better, but this game also seems much better, so...
Right. It's fun to hop. So far it seems very linear, this game. But that's how Equestria was.
It's literally 100% linear.
Which is kind of bad, because I have the ability to fly, but it doesn't really do me any good. I mean, I guess I can use it to maneuver around enemies, but...
Well,
Like,
that's
what's
probably
even
the balancing
better than
aspect.
Like, is there... Can you even say it as platforming when you can already fly?
That's true.
You can only fly if you're a Pegasus.
Is
I
that
s-
true?
Yeah, I think that was the class that I picked, and that's what it
What do
was.
the other ones do?
Who knows? Maybe the unicorn gets more NP or something.
Okay, I swear that Ecclesia had more verticality than this at the beginning. Okay, that thing is creepy. Hey, what's a dude like you doing out here? Is it like a pony hawk?
It's a Peagle.
A beagle?
Or a...
I think it's just supposed to be
Griffin.
yeah, I think it's supposed to be a griffin, but I don't really see any pony aspects.
I think one of the funniest things about the Hollow Knight problem, like people thinking that every game looks like Hollow Knight, is that if the same thing happened with Super Metroid, people get like super excited. And I don't know
Weird.
I don't know if it's just like the fan base of people who played Hollow Knight first or whatever.
Well, it's also I think it's partially time. Like people aren't really that nostalgic for Hollow Knight yet.
So it's okay to rip off Super Metroid because it's old and it hasn't been ripped off enough. Is that what we're thinking?
Maybe. I mean, people are also actively awaiting the sequel to this game, and anything that seems to be copying the aesthetic of Hollow Knight can also be seen as trying to get more popular because it looks like Hollow Knight.
But couldn't you say the same thing for Super Metroid?
Yeah, but people aren't actively expecting the sequel to Super Metroid.
So there's a big long review of Axiom Verge done by Bunny Hop, where he essentially says that he doesn't like the game because it's too similar to, or one of his major criticisms was that the Metroidvania genre is very iterative and therefore Axiom Verge loses value because of that. I don't want to necessarily put words into his mouth and say that he didn't like the game. I'll let you watch the review yourself, but do you think that that may be what... I'm trying to think of like a positive or a reason that I could agree with as to why a game shouldn't look like Hollow Knight. How did I do that? I did it again. I don't even know how.
Maybe it's like a down and then directional.
So I'm trying the
button and
Hadouken
attack.
input.
Or maybe it's double tap forward and then attack.
Yeah, I accidentally put in the input, so it's got to be something like that. Anyway, I'm
When
gonna
you
kill by these
did it, it
ghosts.
seemed like you pressed down and then you pressed right and then you attacked.
I did it again. Wait. I don't even know how I do it. Okay, anyway.
Maybe
So-
it's a short you.
Originality. So it sounds like what we're thinking is that it's because the assumption is that it's lower quality because it's relying on the nostalgia of the other thing.
Or that it's somehow being disingenuous because it's trying to look like a popular game.
So in
And
your
could be perceived as trying to, you know, mooch off the popularity of another game.
Yeah. There is kind of a problem with a lot of Metroidvanias being very similar to each other, and if a game tries to copy another one too closely, then that exacerbates the issue.
yeah. I guess the question is are they? Do we feel like they're actually? Have you played 8 Doors at all yet, Caldrath?
Yeah, I streamed a little bit of it, like 30
That's right.
hours or something like that. I haven't gotten a chance to continue though. Yeah, and that one, like the mechanics all feel solid, but like they feel like they're like things I've seen before already. Like all the ability upgrades have been extremely traditional so far.
So how Hollow Knight would you say that game is? I played it for about an hour or so. I have kind of my own opinion too, but
I wouldn't say it's any more Hollow Knight than any other like melee-based Metroidvania that recently came out.
the funniest thing about all these Hollow Knight comparisons is when I played Hollow Knight, the first thing I thought was Metroid Zero, and I was comparing it to games like that. Like my terrible review that I should probably update even has the opening paragraph comparing it to all of the games that it seems to take ideas from.
Yeah, there was. I think you linked a video on your channel or something. Somebody did, like talking about Hollow Knight and then how they were like showing all the inspirations they had and how it was like a combination of Metroid and Mega Man X.
Who linked that? I think Momo linked that on the Discord. Maybe. No, it was on the Metroidvania review Discord. I think it was Discord bot
Oh, okay.
that linked it.
But yeah, it makes a good point. Like Hollow Knight is like very inspired by other things. But that said, the unique aspect of it is kind of the art style. Like that's the one thing that they did that was different. So I guess when people see the another game as having a similar art style, then they see the one unique thing about Hollow Knight.
So the flying is becoming a lot more relevant, and I have to dodge enemies like that. I just think that's hilarious. Yeah, and that's the other thing is an art style is like only one aspect of the entire game. So making judgment based off of just the way the game looks is especially shallow, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So Belfast Belmont says that if the game is good, people usually don't mind if it looks similar to other things, and I think that that's exactly the case with Hollow Knight. Although I don't know if everybody who played Hollow Knight necessarily saw the sources of its inspirations.
Right, a lot of people who played it, that was their first experience with the genre. Just because it's so popular.
Yeah, it's kind of the symphony of the night of this generation, as far as the Metroidvania genre goes.
Yeah, there isn't much competition quality-wise that's recent.
Yeah, I
Sorry for
mean,
being quiet. I noticed an ant and I'm just aggressively looking around my room for more ants.
Ant
You see
Mania.
why it just makes you paranoid that there's more?
Yeah.
Okay, what good does increasing my int do? I think Peekaboo's better. And did I get any new skills? Gale Force, what does that do? I'm noticing that Fulgore is not very good, so...
Well, I think that there's just like different resistances to different elements. Like I noticed the mushrooms took like almost no damage from the lightning.
Yeah. Well, the Shuriken seems to be the better option out of the two that I had equipped, so we'll try the wind attack and see if it's any good. It looks like it's a homing attack, so that might be helpful during dodging. So let's talk a little bit about like what Hollow Knight, where Hollow Knight may have gotten its inspirations. Now they claim that they were not inspired by Dark Souls at all, and yet it has those death mechanics. Now that's another thing is two people can come up with the same idea independently. Okay, that doesn't hum at all. It just moves weird.
Like if you believe Igarashi about how Symphony of the Night was not inspired by Metroid.
Yeah, I like how nobody believes it when he says that. Like, there's no way. But here's the thing: is that like, okay, so one of the reasons why the Metroid X Zelda randomizer works so well is because Zelda and Metroid are arguably the same genre. So
They're cousins.
yeah, they're very close cousins.
If you give Igarashi a typewriter, eventually he'll make a Metroidvania.
Yeah, what is that? What is the name of that argument? The 100 monkeys argument or whatever, 1,000 monkeys?
It's just monkeys with typewriters. It doesn't. It's the time is more important than the number.
Right. Speaking of time, did you know that there was a fish that beat the Pokemon Sapphire?
Oh yeah, it was basically like Twitch Blaze Pokemon, but
It was a bunch of
had a-
fish.
Yeah.
This boss is actually kind of tough, and I don't think you can heal during battle. But that wind attack does seem to do a lot more damage.
Good thing you didn't choose brutal. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know if I am on brutal. Maybe I am on brutal. Although I'm one-shotting things now that I'm leveling up, although those wisps apparently don't take any spear damage. I think it's interesting how your first weapon is a spear. I mean, it makes sense.
That's for literally everything in this game is just ripped from other things.
Oh, sure. William Pellin said that he hadn't even played Dark Souls until after the development of Hollow Knight. Games that have specifically called out inspiration as Zelda 1 and 2. Oh, okay. So Hollow Knight was inspired by Zelda 1 and 2, Link to the Past, Majora's Mask, and Faxanadu, which I still need to play. I got that right before the...
I wonder what they took from Faxanadu. Having to grind for money.
That's where I was freaking out in the chat. It's cracking me up. About all the things that are ripped from Castlevania.
But like, is this game worse because it ripped off the stuff from Castlevania?
That's the entire point of this game.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is I love stuff like this. So, I mean, if you want to pay homage to... Gosh, some of my favorite games are clearly just homages to other games.
This isn't an homage though, this is literally just the game.
But yeah, as far as Hollow Knight being a Souls-like or whatever, literally the only thing that makes it similar to Souls is the death mechanic. And again, that's not new. That's been around since Diablo 2, like going and getting your corpse back, the corpse run idea.
Yeah.
Right, the death mechanic also, it's not like it's identical to Dark Souls either.
No, it's not.
Just they happen to have a corpse run mechanic. Like, I don't say that it's inspired by Dark Souls, really.
Cero's mad. Cero's mad because they're ripping off, not because they're ripping off the Castlevania games, but because they're not being consistent with which one they rip off. I think it's funny how you recognize which chest is from what game. That is something I would not have even noticed. I need a dash move. Do I have a dash move? I do have a dash move. I need to use that more.
You have that command input one.
Yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah, if I could figure out how to do it consistently.
Something I think people don't get is that games can be similar without being directly inspired by each other.
Right. Now, at this point, I think if you're making a Metroidvania game, it's kind of impossible not to acknowledge Hollow Knight.
Right.
However, the Team Cherry even said that they weren't necessarily or they don't like calling Hollow Knight a Metroidvania, which I find really interesting.
I get why, because Metroidvania is usually very specific. Like 90% of a Metroidvania is the same as other Metroidvania.
Right.
Depending on your definition. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't like the narrow definitions, is that when people try to follow them, then you wind up with extremely similar games, and it doesn't really push the genre forward at all.
Right, which is one of the reasons why I don't really fight that or trying to fight the genre definition, even though I run a website that supposedly focuses on them.
Like, I still call Hollow Knight a Metroidvania. Like, your game doesn't have to follow every convention in order to be in a genre.
Just more than Dead Cells.
It wouldn't be an our Metroidvania podcast stream if we didn't ask about what game is a Metroidvania at least once, or whether or not something is a Metroidvania.
We already talked about Dark Souls.
That's true. That actually heals those guys. That's interesting. Can you heal monsters in Castlevania? I don't know if you can. That's different. I know you can do no damage, but I don't remember ever being able to heal. But yeah, so Hollow Knight, Death Mechanic, Diablo 2. They stole that from Diablo 2, so therefore it's a Diablo-like. When you get hit, the whole screen freezes, and also you have health points that... Oh yeah, these things get healed by the wind for whatever reason. When you get hit, the whole screen freezes, and the character there's a jarring juxtaposition when you get hit. That's straight from Kirby, so it's a Kirby-like Hollow Knight is.
Wow.
And the way the hit points work is exactly like Kirby, or at least like the early Kirby games.
Then I think somebody mentioned Paper Mario is where they got the charm system from.
Did they actually name that as a inspiration, or is it just a similarity? That's another thing that doesn't necessarily they didn't necessarily have to be inspired by anything to do that. It's just similar to Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Some people think everything has a direct causation, and that this direct causation means that people are bad. Made sense.
Right.
There definitely is still something to be said for originality, but not every game has to be original.
Well, sure, but what even is originality?
Yeah, I've heard people say that there is no such thing as an original idea anymore, and I don't necessarily believe that, but...
Something is the sum of its parts, but like not all of its parts have to be like completely new and unprecedented.
Well, yeah, I mean... So I guess the point is or to define originality, a wooden figurine is made from a tree, and therefore it is not an original object. However, the creation itself is original. And so, like, take Axiom Verge. It has a lot of elements from Super Metroid, clearly inspired by Super Metroid, but it has enough elements to make it its own thing that you could call it an original work.
Yeah, like originality is a spectrum where like you can have something that's either 0% or 100% original.
Yeah.
Now it's extremely hard to be 100% original, and you're probably going to mess it up if you try. Which is what I think the main value of games that aren't original is that you can kind of refine what other games have done that are original, and then like just make the best version of it. Like everyone loves Chrono Trigger, and like that game did almost nothing new. It like added the combos and then some like spatial stuff in the combat. But other than that, it was basically just Final Fantasy VI.
So I want to point out that you can just buy level ups. That's kind of cool, actually.
Well, that's like Dark Souls.
Oh,
clearly
gosh.
a Dark Souls.
This game's a Souls-like. I want to try a
So
different
the
weapon.
shopkeeper just has like a bag of money on them. Are they just like born to be a shopkeeper?
I always think shopkeepers... Okay, I want more information on these items. Okay, I'm going to click on this sword because I do kind of want it. Nope, it just buys it. Give me more info. Like, what does the
All you
ruby
need
do?
to know is the attack.
Okay, I'm seeing that it raises my stats, and obviously Lucky Charm gives me 1 additional luck. That doesn't seem worth it. These
But
look
it
like
doubles your
spells.
luck.
Javelin might be good. We have a lot of money because I died a lot there. Alright, we definitely want the defense boost. This game looks pretty fun so far. Wait, intelligence boost, because that seems good. And is this a same slot? Whatever, we're done with this place. Oh, I just bought another thing accidentally. Get me out of here. And yeah, Chrono Trigger was actually pretty original as far as the story went. That is a good point, Melphus Belmont. I still don't think that there's a game that does time travel quite as good as Chrono Trigger does as far as like the scope is concerned. Like other games have done time travel, but they haven't had the same epic like 6 different time periods with quests that connect them. I'm gonna try this shuriken out.
People worry about originality way too much considering like, I mean I don't really see that much blatant ripping off in an attempt to steal popularity type of thing happening. But like people think it happens. Maybe it does, I just haven't seen it.
Okay, so this is something that's actually happened a lot, so I can kind of understand a little bit where people are coming from. Also, I'm going to have to assume that this game saves automatically because I haven't seen a single save point this entire time.
The games that do just blatantly rip off things are the ones literally nobody's heard of because they have 2 reviews on Steam.
Oh,
So
gosh.
what about like PUBG and Fortnite? Where like PUBG kind of created the Battle Royale craze, and then
I like how
Fortnite adopted it.
PUBG just
Same
died
genre,
after
different
Fortnite.
mechanics.
Yeah, Fortnite has the building. I guess PUBG didn't have that, or maybe I'm wrong. I haven't played either, to be honest. But
PUBG
But-
doesn't have building.
yeah.
But Fortnite existed with building beforehand, and then they added the Battle Royale stuff later.
They had
after
building
PUBG.
as sort of like a zombie survival type game, and then it kind of morphed into what it is now. Someone decided to make the mode.
To be quite honest, I think that we should encourage people to take inspiration from other works. Especially something like, okay, apparently you can do that with every attack. You do it accidentally, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't, we'd have PUBG sitting around and people would probably play it more. I don't really think PUBG's a good game.
But if Fortnite didn't exist, or like Apex Legends or any of that, it would probably still be a popular game.
Maybe so.
Yeah, it was popular before those games existed.
Actually, isn't the mobile version still pretty popular or something?
I mean, the normal version is still popular. There's still tons of... I mean, I can look at the Steam charts. I'm sure there's still tons of people who play it.
Once people get involved in an online game, they do have a tendency to, I don't know if it's sunk cost fallacy or what, but they do have a tendency to stick to it. As long as their friends are. Yeah, how come the Bone Pillar isn't a pony? I'm disappointed. It was a perfect opportunity. It's already very similar to a pony.
What would it even look like?
Just be a horse skull instead.
Okay, I just got Electro Ball. That sounds like a shuriken. Yeah, let me put the Electro Ball in this slot. You can put it in both slots. That's similar to Equestria, but I don't see the point of doing that in this game since they both use magic. Wow. This is slow. I can't see this being useful. And like, if this was Mega Man, hitting things on the ground is good, but I can just duck, and this thing's just a half circle, so...
Maybe it does a lot of damage.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to check the damage out. Well, maybe it'll be good on this boss. I mean, we did get it just before this boss.
Put it on something.
What music is this from? Is this Donna Sorrow? I think this is Donna Sorrow.
It's a really not good-looking Manticore.
So yeah, and then the other thing, like when I played Hollow Knight, I thought it was like Mega Man. Like you could jump on walls, and it was like playing Zero in the Mega Man X games to me. Now, like when you hit things, you had like the recoil effect, which was kind of unique to Hollow Knight. So that made the combat a little bit different.
The pogoing was kind of DuckTales-y.
Yeah, the pogoing is my favorite because that's like in every game that's a platformer that you can shoot down in.
So it's a Mega Duck Metroid Souls-like.
There you go.
Paper.
Paper Mega Duck Souls-like, yeah.
Now that boss was a lot easier for you. I guess that was a mid-boss and not a area boss.
Alright, the Phantom Pony is pretty funny. I'm glad that not everything here is poisoning me right now, because that could totally be going on, and that would be really annoying. And so far, this game is just completely linear. I'm going to guess that this is probably more of a Classic Vania-like, but even Classic Vania had more verticality.
What do you call Castlevania
now I'm
that doesn't have platforming, doesn't have Metroidvania? Is it a Harmony like? Is that game
Combat
okay?
Vania? Harmony?
Like combat in Castlevania, like isn't that good? Hot take.
I think it can be good. I thought Order of Ecclesia was fine. Definitely the best in the series as far as combat goes.
So the best in the series was fine.
It's still an RPG,
Yeah, I mean,
which
Yeah, we still have to admit that it's better than Metroid.
it is better than Metroid. All the combat in every Castlevania is better than Metroid. Metroid has terrible combat. I say that it's fine in like Super Metroid or whatever, and that was the first one where it actually was good. AM2R has great combat, and Samus Returns has great combat.
Zero Mission has great combat.
No.
I wouldn't say it's great.
Zero Mission has
for any of those.
Zero Mission is on par with the Castlevania games. It's just easy. Even though I died on Crane on stream because I had to embarrass myself at least once on stream.
I mean, all the Castlevania bosses are easy too, especially since you just can heal yourself whenever you want.
If you stock up on potions.
Which they just throw at you.
Depends on the game. They don't really do that in... I remember in Dawn of Sorrow I actually had to grab the zombie ability that lets you like eat rotten meat and get healed by it in order to keep up with that. Like the first time I played it. Now obviously I've gotten better at games since then, but...
So, these chests are always just conveniently
Well, it's so
directly
linear
in
that
front of you.
there's nothing to explore to get different chests.
So nice that they give you food.
Alright, I'm gonna make the call.
In the original Castlevania, like, wall meat, you had to find wall meat.
It's actually pork, according to the manual. I always think it's funny how everybody calls it chicken because of. Okay,
I
here's
just call it meat.
was Ego Raptor the one who called it wall chicken the first time?
No idea.
The reason why I ask is because wall chicken exists in Dust, in is it Dusk? Dust in a shoot, I can't even remember the name of that game. It's the one with
the tail.
Yeah. The one with the all the furry.
The
characters.
furries. Yeah.
I can't. There's no dancing around it. That's what it is.
It looks like Disney Robin Hood. All right.
Yeah.
It's clearly a Robin Hood ripoff.
It's a Robin Hood like. It's a
That
ripoff.
animation canceling with the sword looks really weird. You just repeatedly hit something with it.
Yeah, I like the Curse of Darkness. Curse of Darkness has fantastic music. Dust and Elysian Tale. That's what it is.
Oh,
Elysium.
oh, that's a completely different game then.
But it was Legion.
Curse of
Of
Darkness
course
is a
they
good
have
game.
tail as in the animal part.
I think
I hate when media just uses that pun.
What? Wait, which point were we talking about?
Tail and tail. Just,
Oh yeah.
like, just whenever like movies and stuff replace a word with like a homonym, it just I hate it.
So you're complaining about the unoriginality of doing that?
Yes.
It was
Obviously.
probably witty once.
So my wife knits, or used to knit. She doesn't really knit anymore. But so we would go to the like the hobby stores and look at yarn and stuff, and all of the advertisements every single time would be like "so good SEW," and I'm like, stop it.
You cannot complain about puns. Of all people.
I try to be clever with my dad jokes. Actually, I steal most of them from Reddit.
Yeah.
I share the ones that I find that are clever, which I think are clever anyway. I mean, the goal is to get people to
They're
cringe.
being clever, and they almost never are.
Yeah. I think that's the
Ouch.
biggest problem with bad jokes is that a lot of them aren't very original, and people like have all heard them before, and people still will say them.
People literally say the first thing that they think of. They think that's original for some reason.
So the funny thing about jokes is that they aren't funny the second time, and we're talking about originality here.
But they're funny the third time.
I think there are mechanics that are good the second and third time.
I mean, some jokes are intentionally not original. You also have gags like the aristocrats, where the point is that you know what the punchline's going to be, but it's the delivery that makes it funny.
Yeah, a lot of times. In fact, sometimes they can play with your expectations and make a completely new joke out of it. I would give examples, but I know that I would mess up the delivery, and everybody's going to be like looking at me blankly. But there are comedians that do that. Like John Mulaney, I think that's like his forte is delivery. Trying to relate back John Mulaney jokes to other people is a real challenge because you just can't deliver it the John Mulaney way.
And it apparently doesn't work in a sitcom format.
John Mulaney's jokes, or
Yeah, he tried to make a sitcom and it wound up not working out.
oh really? I actually hadn't heard that.
I'm a fan of dry, ironic humor.
Is this the boss? This is like the easiest boss so far. I
You
almost beat him.
died.
You died to it already.
Yeah, but I came in here with like 30 hit points. Okay, it's gotta have another form. There we go. Ow, no! Oh, no! Never trust the easy boss. That's the rule in all of these games. Oh gosh, the poison like stays on the ground for a second. All right, what am I supposed to do? Can I hit him? Nope. Nope, I can't hit him. This is a pain. Okay, this boss went from being really easy to now really annoying.
Doesn't your javelin go up more?
It does. These skull things have way too much HP. Whoops.
Wait, it looks like you can just hit them, like, hit the body.
Can you hit the body? Shoot.
I thought it flashed when you hit the body.
So the bullets are hitting the body, but that may not be true of my sword. Goodness. Okay, well this boss went from really dumb and easy to... I do like how he telegraphs his spit attacks, though. How you can see the spit like moving up his throat.
Oh, okay.
That's clever.
Guess it wouldn't be spit. It's more like bile or something.
Yeah, it's kind of gross when you think about it that way.
Just
But...
vomiting on you.
Oh, do the javelins just pierce those bubbles? That's great. Like the shurikens will stop as soon as it hits something. I should be really strong after eating that. I should boost my strength.
Is this game fun to play? Just
It's-
seems like a worse Castlevania.
That's kind of my feeling, and I haven't like drawn any conclusions yet, but it's probably gonna be my thought about whether or not you should download this. Is if you really like ponies and Castlevania, then sure. If you don't like both, then it's probably skippable based on what we played so far. Harsh, I know.
But you need to finish the game to actually review it.
That's true, but I don't think this is a Metroidvania at this point. If somebody plays and finds out that you unlock like Pony Dracula's castle, then by all means I'll consider it again.
That's what happens in Equestria.
Sure, spoiler alert. There's a Dracula in a Castlevania game. But in any case, do we have any other thoughts about Originality? I think we've brought up some good points and thoughts about it. Our conclusion, I think, is that people need to lighten up.
So we talked before about how we might want to discuss like what first impressions of a game might be with respect to that as well.
Yeah. So the other topic I wanted to bring up was interacting with criticism, and the first impressions of the game is definitely part of that. Did you have something you wanted to start that with, or any thoughts about that?
Well, yeah, originality is definitely something that comes across in first impression. Like people look at the game and their first impression is looks like Hollow Knight. But yeah, there are games that I see and that I just get a bad vibe from them. Like, this probably isn't going to be a good game because of certain things.
Graphics.
Yeah, like, the main thing that will make me think a game's going to not be very good is if it has bad animation.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably a bias, but it's also generally true from games I've played.
It generally.
Like if a game doesn't have nearly enough animation frames for the actions that you're doing.
I try to keep an open mind, but from my experience, like, if there are issues with the graphics, oftentimes it's an indicator of, I'm not going to say effort, because I can't really judge how much effort a person puts into a thing, but if there's issues with the graphics, then there's probably going to be issues with other parts of the game. How's it going, Metroidvania?
I mean, there is something, like, if there's a team, then maybe you just have, like, different people have different levels of dedication.
That's true. Yeah, I don't want to suggest that there was an effort put into it or anything like that. Although, honestly, just because maybe you can hit its body. Yeah, you can when you're on its level.
You never tried
Yeah,
it?
you can't hit the neck, you can hit the body.
Oh, jeez.
Stop scrolling.
No!
It took so long to kill it that it stopped scrolling.
This game is Ponyvania, Retrovania.
Order of Equestria.
Okay, so here's a question. If I go back to town... No, I don't want to do that. Okay. Come to think of it, I don't think there's anything back there except for maybe spending money on levels.
The
Yeah.
other thing with Originality is that, like, this is clearly a fan game. Like, you're not really judging it on being original or not.
Right.
The point is that it isn't.
Yeah. So first impressions, though, like Master, have you come across a game that you just looked at it and you're just like, this game's gonna be garbage?
Rabby.
That is definitely a game where the first impression is important.
Oh gosh, Master does
Shadow
not pull
here.
punches. He just comes out with his fist flying.
I don't see Shadow here. But yeah, that is a game that, like, I did not play for so long just because the splash image.
Oh gosh, it's just that fairy. Just you look at her and it's just like. Maybe if you were wearing more than just a ribbon.
Yeah.
Go
I know
ahead,
there-
tell him, clip this. I don't care.
It isn't her name Ribbon too?
Yeah, her name is Ribbon. That's where the Ribby comes from. So her name is Ribbon, so the title gets Ribby as part of it. But the rabbit's name is, gosh, I can't remember her name now. What is it? It starts with an E, like Emily or something like that.
I don't remember.
But anyway,
I skipped all the dialogue.
her name isn't Rabbit, so the title has somebody's first name, but then it's just like, okay, your identity is that you are a rabbit. Now, I get that in the context of the game that's kind of appropriate, but just a little unfair to... Oh, gosh, why can't I remember her name? I used to remember it. Like many things I used to remember. Arena, that's what it is. Or Arena, or however you want to... I guess it's Taiwanese, so I don't know if it's going to use the Japanese pronunciation. But yeah, it's the art. We both Caldroth... I love Robbie Ribby, and I know if Salmas is still on here, I think it's his number one favorite game of all time. And Caldroth, I think you like it. I don't know if you...
I put it in, like, near the top tier, like, right around, like, Bloodstained and Environment Station Alpha.
Yeah, I think it deserves to be up there.
But you have to get over the like art style, and you have to be willing to skip all the dialogue.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that it's a bad game. I haven't played it, but I'm saying that my first impression is very bad.
So, is your first impression that the game would be bad, or that the game would be uncomfortable to play?
It's more of it being uncomfortable to play than it like actually being a bad game.
Yeah. So there's different types of bad first impressions.
I guess my first impression of Salt and Sanctuary was like kind of because the animations were they hurt my eyes. But I mean, I enjoy that game.
Salt and Sanctuary is pretty good.
Yeah, it does the thing where it uses the 2D skeletal animation now, which
I hate that animation style. It's like it's the only animation that will bug me.
yeah, like there isn't a game that has that animation style that I thought looked good.
Okay.
Actually, I was watching the trailer for Ender Lilies, and that game, like the art looks amazing for it, but then I saw like a lot of the animations for the enemy attacks, and they're like really dull looking to me. So it's kind of like I'm not sure how to assess that.
I'm really looking forward to Ender Lilies. I had a lot of fun with that game. I think that what people aren't going to like about it is that some of the bosses are kind of a little bit meatbaggy. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. I actually really looking forward to when that comes out. So yeah, as far as I try not to like give my first impressions to games when they come out because I try not to review things until I've played them all the way, as you know. And I feel like giving impressions is sort of like giving a review.
Yeah.
I want to make sure. It's kind of a juggling act. Like, oh, good ribbons. Everybody wants more attack power, especially in this game. Gosh. Fidelis Noobs. I guess I'll grab it. And Stardust. That sounds good. And then there was a new weapon there. Lance or Claymore. Claymore is usually better. Lance does more damage, though. We're just going to go with damage. Although, this Tome of Arms is tempting because that boss fight I was mostly throwing lances.
Just buying everything.
I played a couple of games that, responding to Metroidvania, I played a couple of games that if I had written a review, like within the first, like hour of playing it or whatever, I would have given it a bad review. And then by the time I got to the end of it, I ended up enjoying the game a lot. So that's part of the reason why I have that policy. Oh gosh, I kind of regret the Lance option now. But oh well, we're stuck with it now. Oh, there is a save point here. We saw that at the very beginning. I don't know why I forgot about it. Okay, this is hilarious to me. I just want to like admire the art here and the like normally what would be like nude women statues is like this weird pony person. It's so
That
weird.
horse has a vagina.
What? Where are you looking?
If you look like at the very bottom of the crotch, I could kind of see what he's saying.
Cloudsdale, a bloody Cloudsdale. All right, I'm gonna try out one of these books. Where is it? Tome of Arms, and then we're gonna trade the ribbon out for an intelligence boost. That's Constitution. Little Rainbow Falls. I think we may have broke the game just now. 54 damage. Holy cow.
Wow. Maybe things will be less awful now.
Maybe that's been my problem this whole time is I didn't find the intelligence hacks. Although we do have to worry about mana this way. Come to think of it, I remember... Aha! Okay, there we go. So we have A, B, and C. So I can actually equip... I think. Haha. So we'll do a... Then I can switch back and forth. This game got a whole lot better all of a sudden.
Didn't have that in Order of Equestria?
They did, and I guess I wasn't paying enough attention to this game to get that correct. Okay, so the Hero's Cave does the most... And then we need Sapphire. And then skills. I guess it'd be the same, I guess. What does Stardust do? Okay, we'll try that. And then the Javelin's been good. Oh, Fidelis News. Curious little cloud automatically moves and attacks enemies with electricity. Well, that's funny.
Is that a
That's
familiar?
from Mario. It looks like a Mario thing. That's cool. That it makes you okay. This game got more interesting. Okay, do I literally just spit stars? And it has a cooldown, like a really long cooldown.
Is your MP refilling faster now too?
I think intelligence may make your MP refill faster. Okay, the Stardust is dumb. You literally just belch stars out, and then you have like a cooldown. You can't do anything until it's done. Well, that was a waste of money. Guess I'll go back to the shuriken.
You don't want to puke on things?
The puke attack.
It was working pretty well for that last boss.
I'll go back to my attack stat. Oh. I really wish I could figure out what causes that. So other criticism though, like one of the things that was said on Reddit this week is that people are really harsh to like developers that put their games on Reddit. And I find that I noticed the same thing, and I find it interesting that people do that. And it is a little tough because I think all three of us have had some experience doing some level of development. I'm not going to say that we know exactly what it's like, but it's difficult, right?
Yeah, I haven't really like shown off things to people though.
Right.
I think I'll just done the most.
I made RPG makers back in high school and stuff, which I don't talk about a ton. And I probably wouldn't share them with people at this point, but we also made games.
How vicious they are.
Yeah, they're not great. I actually there's some things I'm actually proud of myself for some of my game design principles that I applied even back then. There are other things that I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't do things that way anymore, but I don't even know what a spirit metal does.
But you keep falling into spikes, you have infinite flight.
Well, you can't fly while you're in hit stun.
Yeah, that's what the problem was. But I also had iframes while that was going on, so...
Sorry, taking very much damage.
Or maybe the health is just broken for this enemy.
Yeah.
Maybe.
More likely.
Oh no, I don't have the health bar hack equipped.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now the cloud did something. Oh, the cloud seems to be doing a lot now. Okay, weird.
Yeah, people kind of get angry at things on Reddit. Kind of what Reddit's known for.
So yeah, Belfast Bellwant suggests try constructive criticism when you're on Reddit, or limit yourself to saying that this product doesn't interest you. And I don't know, like, so...
Well, constructive criticism is hard.
Right, and here's the thing is like, people are going to be... The language is really limited, and people have difficulty expressing themselves and articulating exactly what it is that bothers them about a thing. Like, it takes a lot of practice. I'm not even going to say that I'm very good at it myself yet, even though I try. So when you post it on Reddit, you can't expect them all to be like professional level critics with the words that they use to describe their feelings towards your product.
Yeah, and the way Reddit's designed is it more encourages you to say things that people are going to agree with than things that are actually useful.
Right.
Yep.
So if you just like, you see a bad game and you're like, game is bad, and everyone's like, yeah, game is up. I agree, game is bad. They upvote you,
Right.
even though you're like not really contributing to the conversation.
This is the most frustrating thing about posting my reviews on Steam, is that like the joke review will always have like the most upvotes, and my 5-paragraph review that took me a while to construct will, you know, have like 3 upvotes because nobody read it. But yeah, Reddit's the same way. So I mean,
Yeah,
what were you saying?
You can continue. I was going to segue.
You were gonna say what?
I was gonna do a mini segue.
Oh, cool. Go ahead and segue.
Well, so what do developers actually think about this? Like when they post their game, are they disappointed that there isn't enough good criticism generally?
So I'm subscribed to another Reddit, which I think is r/indie, I think. And like more recently, people have been posting like reviews of their games and like making sad faces, I guess, essentially about that. And I think it's, I don't know, as human beings, we kind of, whether we like it or not, we kind of need that feedback in order to discern whether what we're doing is worthwhile. Like, you make a game for people to play it, and so if somebody takes a look at it and nobody's interested in it, or it seems that way, that can be disheartening, understandably so.
Yeah, like when you post something on Reddit, like you may ostensibly be looking for criticism, but what you really want is people to tell you that you're doing the right thing.
Right. So it's really harsh when nobody says, or it seems like nobody says anything nice about your product.
This is unrelated. I like the subtle Medusa head sprite change.
Oh, did they actually change it? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I like that. I got saved by another pony, even though I have my own wings.
Not in Hitstone though.
I was a little worried when I saw the pit. I thought for sure it was going to be a bottomless pit, just because that's what I'm used to seeing in Castlevania. I don't think that there's any actual pits in any of the Metroidvania, Castlevania games. Side note, I used to say Egavania whenever I was referring to the Metroidvania, Castlevania games. But I've been kind of trying not to do that because I realize that not everybody necessarily knows what that term means. It's derpy.
But then you're saying like Order of Ecclesia and Portrait of Ruin are Metroidvanias.
Yeah, I think the Order of Equestria fits, even if you could call it a crest-like. You know, it's funny. When I first saw this pony, the first thought I had was, "Well, that one looks derpy," and look, that's what his name is, or her name. I guess they're all she's. Why is it playing?
Oh no, because you could
this
make
music?
a male pony.
Oh, okay.
Is that dude from Brother Bear?
Minor cheese.
Come on. All right, I should probably switch back to my. I'm actually really surprised I dodged that. So this is the dilemma. Like, you use up all your mana, and then my first inclination is to switch to my attack form, but then I regenerate mana slower in attack form. So, oh,
You could swap while you're not hitting.
oh gosh, it's the red devil or the yellow devil.
Oh
sorry.
no, not this.
But you can fly, so that's a little bit better.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that trope?
I think
how many
it's
games-
fine. It's
How
tiresome.
how many games actually do that? It's like
Mega
Mega
Man.
Man X5, and then like what? Like
Oh gosh.
yeah.
1, 3, I think 7 has it. 8, I think, has it, and then 9 has its own version of it. So what is that? 4, 5 out of the 10 games. I haven't played 11 the whole way through. It might have a yellow devil.
Yeah, check out the Medusa head.
That's hilarious, actually. That's great.
But there aren't that many like outside of Mega Man.
So I'm going to point out that this is the first level with actual verticality.
Still linear though. I think a robot named Fight has a ripoff of that boss.
Does it? I think it's a fine trope. When you play enough of these games, you'll start to see patterns that are similar to other patterns. So anyway, one thing I wanted to mention about interacting with criticism is that when you're a developer, never tell anybody that their opinion is right. Like, especially if they're being negative about it. Like, so I reviewed Feudal Alloy, and I actually liked the game. And, you know, I had positive things to say about it. But, like, somebody else had a review on Steam that was like, this game is terrible, blah, 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 blah. And the developer responded back, it's like, yeah, we're sorry. You're right. And I'm like, no. Like, you definitely should listen to people's criticism, and, like, I don't know, it might not be a bad idea to, like, give reinforcement to people that gave you criticism that you actually implemented into your game, and, I don't know, let them know, but ultimately, it's a person's opinion, which isn't necessarily right or wrong, or at the very least, it's not necessarily right or wrong taken at face value.
Yeah, and you can also like implement their feedback and without acknowledging, like without saying that it was a problem before.
Right.
Like you can say that that's like you changed it to be like more to their preference.
Yeah.
Just fix it and pretend that it was your idea all along.
Well,
I think you should.
There's changes to games that aren't necessarily fixes. They're just like, it wasn't what I was originally envisioning, but maybe the current audience would prefer it that way.
Sure. I think it's important to acknowledge when you do take people's feedback, because it reinforces the idea that the feedback is being listened to. People are going to stop giving you any feedback if they don't feel like their voice isn't being heard.
What you mean? Just saying that your feedback is valuable and important to us.
Yeah, no, that's shallow. Boy, the gauntlet leading up to this place is just brutal. I haven't been paying attention to the plot at all. By the way, there's a lot of words in this plot.
I'm sure that this is very similar to the Rabby Ruby plot, where it just doesn't matter.
You're finding the plot devices to do the plot thing. That's all that matters.
Gotta get the MacGuffin muffin down to the breakfast table.
I've been saying McMuffin just like unironically instead of MacGuffin now. It's so much fun.
Why is my Cloud going after the stars? What are you doing, Cloud?
Blame Sephiroth.
It's from one of the Mahler videos. Assuming you've also heard it from there.
Oh yeah, speaking of Baller, how do you feel about criticism that like calls the game feces or vomit or...
That's probably a bit excessive. There are some games that are absolutely horrendous, though.
It's not useful unless you back it up with like 3-hour-long video about.
I was about to say, Baller uses that, but it is usually after he's like pointed out every little detail. In conclusion, it's his feces. Is usually what it is.
I mean, we're also judging a video review, which is a little bit different because it's also trying to be entertaining.
Sure.
And the hyperbole is fun.
Can you say that his video review is feces?
I think Mahler supports that idea. Not his videos per se, but he argues, and I agree, that video reviews should also be reviewed and criticized.
I haven't actually seen that.
I think that was part of his 4-hour-long Force Awakens review.
Oh, maybe I did. That's an interesting sun attack. Or ball of fire attack.
It started off screen, right next to you.
No, it started above the boss, and then it went off screen to the left, and then it came back.
Oh.
It just keeps homing loosely.
So far, this has been the best boss in what we've played so far. I actually had fun with that one.
Maybe that's because you could just sit still shooting it.
Maybe.
It's a Cuphead boss.
That felt like that whole gauntlet felt like Final Dungeon like.
Mhm.
Oh, there really is a McGuffin muffin. You can review me if you want, Retroidvania. I welcome that.
And then we'll review your review.
Why was there a McMuffin? Like,
I
actually
don't
a
know.
muffin?
I haven't been paying enough attention. So Belfast Belmont says they want to point out the difference between expressing an opinion of a game that is out and one that is in progress. One is for potential players or just to debate. The other, one is for potential players or to just debate, and the other is for the dev to make something. Derpy just loves muffins. Well, that's good to know.
And he just happened to find one.
Retroidvania says that after he's done reviewing my review, I should review his review of my review. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. The thing about any review is it's not useful if people can't find any use from it.
People don't review reviews enough. People will watch a video and they'll just co-opt the opinion that they heard in the video without understanding why.
Yeah, that's like a lot of people will just like look at Metacritic to determine if a game's good or.
Oh yeah, that's common. That people would want to do that.
See, I believe you should read several reviews and then choose the review to believe that you like the most.
I think that's the most important thing is find somebody that you... Oh, they actually have the shield rod. I'm gonna get that. Do I have enough of the Sword of Hedor now? Too bad.
Yeah, I was making a joke. You shouldn't just choose the review that sounds the best to you. You should consider all the reviews and see if they're actually accurate.
I always encourage people to look at many reviews, and I'm willing to host anybody's review on my website that is interested in being hosted, because I encourage that people should get a wide variety of opinions on things. If the purpose is to try and learn whether or not it's right for them, because I can't make a recommendation catered to you without talking to you directly. Which obviously I can't do when I'm presenting a review. I mean, I could, but that would be really like logistically impossible to do for everybody.
Just write a review based off of your reviews, and then you can host it. Start your own echo chamber.
All right, so how are we feeling about this game? Should we move to the randomizer, or are we bored of Equestria at this point? How does
I don't really care. Seems like we've talked about most of what we wanted to.
What's that?
Do we have any other topics to discuss? It seems like we've covered most of it. We can also elaborate on them further.
Sure. So the other topic I set out for tonight was level design, because I recently had the I don't want to use the word. I recently had a game that I played that I did not care for the level design, so it was something I wanted to talk about.
Ooh, I got a segue. Your review needs to be elaborately designed, almost as if you were making a level in the game you're reviewing. Speaking of levels, level design.
Oh, you gotta get the segue correct.
This level design that we're seeing is kind of garbage.
Well, this one's actually ripped directly from Order of Ecclesia at this point.
Is Order of Ecclesia garbage? Have you guys been lying to me? Still need a finished portrait.
Okay, so I really like Order of Ecclesia. I gave it a 4 out of 5. And every time I think about Order of Ecclesia, I have good memories of the good parts of Order of Ecclesia, and I'm like, maybe I should give it a higher score. And then I have to like read my old review of it, or just dig into my memory as to why I gave it a 4 instead of a 4.5. And the reason why I gave it a 4 is because half the game is relatively linear levels. It's not this bad. Like, there's still a little bit of exploration in those levels. I'd say it's probably similar to Demon's Crest. Which is why Etzero keeps calling it a crest lag. That lizard pony looks very sad.
Give him a hug.
I am giving a hug with my razor silver tongue. And yeah, I agree that enemy positioning is also part of the level design. Like, there are two parts of the whole. Like this encounter, these tree things. I mean, they're just pretty basic enemies in the Castlevania series that just kind of stand there. But like, you could take something like this guy right here and put him in a pit so you can't target him in the same way as you did the first time you fought him, rather than just having two of them in a row, which I don't know if that's going to happen in this level design.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of just looks like random enemies put together. Maybe like ones that are themed around the aesthetics of the environment, but...
Whoops. Wolf pony. Literal wolf pony. I think it's
so,
like a werewolf.
like, other animals exist, but they're just, like, drawn in the same style, and they're called ponies.
Yeah, it's like if you took anthropomorphizing, but it was like equestromorphizing. I don't know if that makes any linguistic sense, but it seems to be right to me.
I understand.
Oh gosh. Well, I went in here with only 4 hit points, so it was bound to happen. But yeah, I mean, the thing about level design is that, especially in the Metroidvania sphere, is that more is not better ever. It's really important that you think about every screen when you're designing a level. And, like, you've heard the phrase every framey painting when it comes to movies. And you kind of have to think of your level design in the same way. You can't just think of it as hallways. I mean, you should, to some degree, have it make some sense. But every encounter should be looked at as its own experience.
I think the framing saying is, I think that applies to level design actually very well. Because you do need to actually, in order to have interesting level design, you can't just have interesting rooms connected with boring hallways. I mean, isn't that what Chasm was pretty much? I didn't play it.
Every hallway is a room. Chasm actually did a pretty good job with that. So I think that as far as like procedural generation goes, the winner is still well, I think Weapon Hacker comes close, but a Robot Named Fight manages to have a lot of really interesting rooms within its code, or the seed. Oh, those are red skeletons, so I can't even do anything with those.
Probably grab those chests for health.
I could, except that the dragon's going to bite me if I try and go after it, and I'm not really that fast. So it seems like a dubious chest to go for. I don't know why I should be disappointed by like the 800 gold chests, but I am. Like, I'm not sure. Let's brainstorm real quick. These tree guys, how can we make these guys more interesting using level design? Or do you think that those guys only can operate in a linear hallway?
Have they ever been interesting in any Castlevania game?
Those tree dudes? I think that they only exist in a few of them.
Well, I mean, the archetype of large humanoid enemy that walks towards you is present in
Oh yeah, sure.
every Castlevania.
So, okay, how you can make them more interesting from an encounter standpoint is they essentially act as a wall that prevents you from progressing forward. So, if you added in like Medusa heads or maybe like a werewolf or something that you can either try and get through the tree, or you can fight the thing that's attacking you actively, is one way you can make them more interesting. Having them just be in a hallway like this, like obviously I just got hit there, so it's not like impossible that the encounter can't be interesting by itself, but something that could make it more dynamic, or if you wanted to use the enemy again, using them as an obstacle is one way to do that.
The tree dude could be in front of the flower dude, and then you have to dodge the flower attacks while fighting the tree.
Right. You can do that. You just have to be careful that you're not being completely unfair with it.
Of course, that's a given.
Yeah, enemy spam is also a problem that amateur developers often have issues with. One thing that's really interesting is, as far as like level design goes, there's a contest. There's been 3 of them now. I don't know if the third one's actually been released yet, but the Make a Good Mega Man level contest has really fascinating, like, from a case study standpoint, looking at those levels and looking at like the low judged levels versus the top picks from the players, like what people thought were the best levels. Some really interesting things you can learn from that. How many hit points does this thing have?
I like looking at Doom mods and the various enemy encounters people come up with, because you know people have like 20 years of experience in the community, and they're still making like new unique encounters, and it just goes to show how many interesting encounters you can make with just a few different enemies and a few different types of terrain.
Yeah, it's especially interesting when you have a situation like with Doom WADs where it's relatively low entry point to experiment.
Yeah, I think it's harder to do combat in a 2D game though, and make it as replayable.
This is the first time I've actually swung my shield rod. I didn't know what was going on for a second there.
Have a shield to go with the shield rod.
Yeah. You're a little quiet there, Caldroth. Is everything okay on your end from a technical standpoint?
I think my other mic stopped working, so I switched to my old one.
Okay. Have you been trying to talk this whole time? And
Yeah.
You're really quiet, so I don't know if you're able to like boost it on your side. I think you're already maxed out on my side.
Alright, let me try to bump up the sensitivity.
Usually Cauldrous energy transfers to me halfway through the stream anyways.
That's
So.
how it works. I know I'm very chatty, and I'm sorry if I interrupt people, but
Alright, is that better?
that is much better.
Okay.
So what did you have to say, Calderoth?
A long time ago that I don't remember.
Oh.
Yeah, the level design actually feels more Castlevania-like all of a sudden, or should I say Equestria-like.
So, the main draw of Castlevania, the best thing about it is that it has a lot more enemy variety than most other games. And I feel like this level is actually doing that. Like, the other levels would have just like 2 or 3 enemy types, and this one's like actually mixing them up.
Yeah, Castlevania is like the collage of level design. Like, it only works because there's so much to experiment with. And even that, with that said, for the most part, Castlevania has fairly serviceable level design. If you went through the entire game with just a dagger, which is what they tested Bloodstained with, that's why I'm using that example, it could still be interesting.
I don't know about interesting, but beatable, yeah.
I don't know. It wouldn't be terrible, I guess.
Yeah, they said that they made sure that all the bosses were beatable with a dagger, not necessarily fun.
I guess that's true. There's probably an intern who's like, I hate this game. Can I just sit right here and do this? Oh, no.
So would you say that Metroid has better level design than Castlevania?
Yes, absolutely yes. Metroid...
I know that's not even a question, but I have to say it before I continue along this train of thought.
You're establishing a premise.
Yes. So, enemy placement in combat is also part of level design. So, Castlevania has better combat, but worse level design anyways.
I don't even know...
Overall.
Yeah, generally speaking, it has better combat. I'd say that Castlevania is... It was designed to be an RPG in a 2D format, and I feel like it does that well enough. And part of the problem with Castlevania is that because it's an RPG, you can over-level and trivialize your encounters, which can detract from the value of the combat.
Can't you kind of do the same thing in Metroid by getting too many missiles and energy tanks?
There's a limit to that, though. I think the energy tanks definitely have a bigger impact than the missiles, depending on which Metroid game you're playing.
Well, yeah, there's a limit, but it can be offset. Well, it can be offset with skill, and like obviously, Castlevania combat can be too, but there's a difference between being able to one-shot something and not one-shot something. That's what happens with Castlevania RPG mechanics. But it's different with Metroid because like more missile tanks means it's more forgiving, because then you can miss a lot of your missiles. But it doesn't mean you're one-shotting enemies or anything.
Well, I think the super missiles kind of change that up. Like, if you have enough super missiles, then you can just, like, utterly destroy a boss.
Yeah. I actually use Zero Mission as an example in my upcoming video review. I'm like, I'm going to have to put a comment that I gave Zero Mission a 5 out of 5 because I use it as a negative example. Because when we streamed Zero Mission a few weeks back, I got to Ridley and I shot 6 super missiles into his face and he died, like, straight up.
Oh, it's not good.
I was like, oh. In my opinion, Zero Mission has the worst Ridley in the series as far as boss design goes.
Yeah. I mean, Super Metroid's Ridley tanked a lot of missiles, right? So you have to be accurate with your super missiles. If you try to spam them all at the beginning of the fight, you'll probably miss a lot of them.
Yeah, also Ridley in Super Metroid has, I think, a bunch of invulnerable parts. I don't think you can hit his tail and deal damage. He's just too big in Zero Mission. You couldn't put that Ridley in Smash Brothers, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's a Smash Brothers joke that only Smash Brothers fans are going to get.
I thought it was funny. This boss seems tedious.
Oh.
Well, I think it's interesting because it layers a bunch of different attacks.
Yeah, it's actually like a decent boss design. It just seems like you spam your entire mana bar twice and nothing happens, and then you die.
That's just the build I've gone with. That's another thing about Castlevania design is if you're not having fun, you can change your build pretty quickly and try something different. And this is especially true after Aria Sorrow introduced the idea of having every enemy drop a spell potentially.
Yeah, where
If you farm it enough.
Some of the night's pretty limited in what you can do. and also like harmony of dissonance.
Come on, come on.
Like you can choose a weapon, and then other than that, you're pretty much doing your thing.
So, how does Harmony of Despair play? Is it anything like this?
Like the multiplayer one,
Yeah.
I
I was under the impression those were just like going through linear random levels and then like getting stuff.
so I never played it myself, but apparently like it's a thing where the entire level is in play, including the boss from the time you start. So the
Yeah,
boss
yeah.
can like shoot giant lasers at you. So it's a bit different. It's kind of like an arena style game, I guess, because of that.
I've only played the demo. I don't know if I can hit things off screen in this game or not.
I think you were earlier when you were fighting the white dragon thing.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, that the entire enemy was basically off screen from your ledge. It was really annoying to look at.
Oops. Okay, I'm not bad. So I have to just dodge for a bit. I'm glad that my familiar does 12 damage every once in a while. The problem with having bosses like this is that it can be sometimes a little unfair that you get cornered, which it's
They're
good for
also
them.
off-screening you.
Yeah. Okay, this guy's gonna throw his rock soon, and the rock is a homing attack.
Don't you love when enemies just attack exactly where you're positioned
Yeah.
in a 2D game?
Well, it can make things predictable, which is sometimes useful. I think what the gimmick at this level is that I think I'm supposed to find those guards, and I think they might help me on the fight, but I'm not paying enough attention to the dialogue to have comprehended that that's what we're supposed to be doing.
I mean, when you walked over them before, they just said thank you and they just floated into the stratosphere, so they weren't really being helpful.
Aren't they giving you sage, which refills your health?
No, I think I gave them the sage.
Oh.
Maybe I had that backwards. But anyway, some don't do's in your level design. There's a couple of things that, like, I think the number one thing to remember when you're doing a level design is that there is no value in length if the length doesn't have quality to it. Having,
Padding.
yeah. And then padding is one of those words that is nebulous in definition, but I don't see any other passageways I could go, so maybe I'm wrong about the seeking out the other ponies here.
They're literally just in front of you when you go through the level.
But yeah, don't think to yourself, this level needs to be longer ever. Like, if there's an issue that your level feels too short, it's usually because you have mechanics that haven't been explored to its full potential.
It's never just add a longer hallway. You must add interesting content to your game. That's the point.
Yeah, and the analogy I like to make is, I think I made this analogy on stream before, is that musicians don't just fill their songs full of white noise just to make it last longer.
Depends on the artist.
What do you think a chorus is?
That's not white noise, though. Repetition can be really good in music, and repetition can be good in video games, too. It just depends on where you use it and how.
Every song from the 70s where it just fades out over the course of 2 minutes.
Now, this might be a somewhat controversial opinion, but I actually really like the Mega Man games, how they make you fight all 8 bosses over again. it's automatically different because when you do fight those 8 bosses over again, you have the full kit of weapons that you didn't necessarily have when you fought them the first time. Okay, one's down. Now I can focus on Rover. Oh gosh. Apparently he has the ability to shoot rainbow waves off screen. No. Oh no.
It can be interesting when you fight a boss and then you fight them again later when you're just massively overpowered and they're now a regular enemy.
Yeah, yeah. Or
I've been playing Binding of Isaac lately, and frequently they'll have just like a couple of random bosses from like the first floor and the later floors, and you just destroy them in a second.
Nope. I didn't start flying early enough.
I guess you could make the argument that people enjoy
Whoa!
people enjoying getting more powerful in video games, and in Metroidvania, this is kind of the purest form of that. Just fighting a boss you already fought, this time they die faster.
Yeah, and like Deedlit, it also has a boss rush. Spoilers, and they don't scale them for your new power level.
Right, but then you have to fight all of them.
It's interesting, like, this game isn't relevant, but it's what I've played recently, so it's what I'm going to talk about. Binding of Isaac has a boss rush, but they'll put you up against like multiple earlier bosses at the same time, so it's a little more interesting than just destroying one of them and moving on to the next one sequentially. Because, you know, they have different patterns and stuff, so it becomes more about managing the amount of bosses you're fighting than just, like, you know, fighting one of the bosses.
Yeah, just putting 2 bosses of the same, or 2 different bosses that you fought individually before into the same room can really be interesting.
Especially if they mesh well.
Hollow Knight
Like, imagine if you fought Ornstein before you fought him with Smog.
There are some games where they'll actually take bosses from the early game and then make them like minor enemies in the later game.
Oh yeah, Dark Souls did that. Just so we can reference Dark Souls again before the end of the night.
Yeah.
We haven't
I
heard.
didn't like how they did that, though. I think... yeah.
Isolith in general
That area sucked.
is notoriously bad, so you don't get iframes when you dodge. Of course, I don't think you get that in Castlevania either, but...
Yeah, it's not really a dodge as much as a cancel.
Melphis Belmont said that this boss needed to have the camera zoomed out, and I agree. Too much stuff happens off screen.
Or they
Too many games don't zoom out enough.
Or they just need to have them approach you and then only shoot when they're within a certain range.
On the flip side, though, I can't hit them off screen, or from off screen, so I have the same advantage as they do. I really need to get rid of this rock dude faster, and I wish he had fewer hit points or something. It's okay. I mean, I'm gradually learning to fight. Ugh.
Melee might actually be better for this because their attacks seem really slow.
Maybe. I think I just do more damage with the spear at this point. Oh, they have a cheat thing. It might be a little above your skill level. No.
Wait,
how would skipping
skips
be
it?
good?
How is this
Because
helpful?
what the?
Both had the same exact reaction.
Oh. So it just takes you straight to the boss. Okay, that's kind of nice. Like, one of the criticisms I was going to make is, like, it's kind of annoying having to go through the level every single time, which it's fine, they can do that, but it's nice that they give you the option to skip the boss occasionally.
The portal thing is nice.
Yeah, maybe I could try using a different spell. I've got all this money now that I could try something else. At this point, though, I think we're wrapping up, right?
Yeah. Ish.
So I think we could go on a long time about level design. I don't know if this is necessarily place to do it. That's actually so. One of the things that people have wanted me to do is make videos about game design, and that is high on my list of videos I'd be interested in making. Is talking about level design specifically.
If you want to hear about level design, tune in next time where we may or may not talk about level design.
We'll let you know what we're talking about next time.
We kind of do that a bit every week.
I do think we talk about level design at least to some degree every week, but yeah. If you have any requests on what you would like us to talk about, definitely let us know in the Discord. And by the way, I didn't bring this up. I said I was going to bring this up partway through the stream, but we're thinking about changing up how this stream pattern works. One thing we've noticed is that when the person is playing the game, we often get distracted. And so we're going to try doing pre-recorded video for 2 weeks out of the month. And then 1 week out of the month, we'll do a Let's Play, which is usually going to be Master playing something difficult that we can make fun of him while he plays. And so we're going to have two what we're going to call podcast streams where we discuss just like this. And then one Let's Play stream, which will probably focus more on what the person is playing. And then, of course, once a month, we'll do our game night. So every other week will be the podcast. Calder, did you have something to say? Your thing was popping up.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.